I was diagnosed in 2008, just before Christmas, with esophageal cancer. I noticed a little problem swallowing, so I went to the doctor and they sent me to a gastrologist to do a scope, and when they did the scope they found a tumor just above my stomach, and it was shocking news. It was, and we knew we had a tough battle. So with help from my wife, that had made a big difference. They asked me the first thing, of course, do you smoke? And I had smoked, but I was 20 years removed from smoking, so it wasn't from that. And I wasn't a drinker, and that's usually the next question. But what had caused it was heartburn. I had heartburn all the time. So if you ever have a problem with heartburn, go see a doctor. The first doctor that we saw was a surgeon that explained to us that they would remove my esophagus and part of my stomach, and then they would use the rest of my stomach to replace my esophagus. I started out with radiation and chemotherapy. So they set up, they did the chemo and the radiation. I had 29 treatments of radiation and heavy doses of chemo. And when I started, I was 240 pounds. And then I had the surgery, and I was in the hospital for a month, and had a lot of complications with the surgery. It's a rough surgery, and
Well, what happened is the colon slipped up into the diaphragm. Try to tighten it so that that wouldn't happen again. They made it too tight, and then no food could get down. So he
Food
had
or water.
surgery on April 14th, and he did not come off a feeding tube and start taking anything in by mouth until the end of July. So
I went 3 months, right, without being able to drink water. Finally was opened up, and I was able to finally drink some water. I would sit and watch commercials and see people drinking things, and it would just drive me crazy. That was the hardest part of it for me. That was. But we made it past it. The survival rate wasn't real great. I can't remember what it was. My
it
wife probably
was
does.
15% chance of surviving 5
But
years.
it usually happens to older people, and I was a little younger. I was 45 at the time. When I came out of the hospital, first time I really saw myself in a full mirror, I was quite shocked, because I'd gone from a strong person to an old man, to a shriveled up old man. So it was an awakening, but I did a lot of walking to come back, and worked on eating, and eating was a slow process. I had to basically learn to eat again. I was able to overcome it with a lot of help from a lot of people, a lot of prayers, and a lot of meals brought to our house, and a lot of people
A
helping
lot
us.
of help from our community.
They had a benefit, and so many people came to it. With that money that they raised, we paid our mortgage for a year, and that's amazing.
It's really, yeah, people would just, or even just randomly, just cards you didn't even know who put them there, and it'd be like a $100 Walmart card or a $100 gas card in the mailbox.
5 days a week we had to go up to the hospital for radiation. And I coached football, and when I was diagnosed, it was in the winter time, and after I had the surgery, I was able to coach the next year. And it was rough. It was I hadn't been back to work yet, but I was able to go out there and coach the kids, and that was medicine in itself. It helped me get back to normal, and it was great. We won the Super Bowl that year, and it was fantastic. Excuse me. It was fantastic. It was.
Kids we hadn't seen in years that just showed up at our door. We just want to come see how Coach is doing. That was really heartwarming to me.
With the help from the community, they fed our family and kept us in our house. We have 3 boys, all different ages, and we explained to them that I had to go through surgery, that I was sick. It was a growing experience for the whole family, and my boys really were a big help. I didn't go through cancer alone. I had a partner that helped me a lot.
We have since set up through our church, it's Helping Hands, and we just go out a couple times a year and just help people in the community that need jobs done and stuff. And our kids are, I think that that's why they so willingly do that with us, just because of all the help that they saw us get.
A lot of people think that that's the worst thing that could ever happen to you, but you grow as a person, and it changes you. And I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't.